Well, hey everybody, this is Steve at 1000 Year Home. Welcome aboard. So this whole week I've been pretty much busy with other projects besides working on the house. I might have bought the buggy that was there at the Orville when Orville Wright crashed his plane in 1908. Distinct possibility, right? So I've been real excited about that, spending a lot of time research. I think I'll narrow that down to once a week. I'll dig into it simply because I'm not a historian. But I am a guy without a house who's building a house late in life. I guess you would call this a retirement home, off grid, all by myself. So if I can do it, I believe certainly younger people who are hard up against the cost of money. Now, I've been seeing people online saying that they're building Connex houses and they're $500,000 and listen, that's plain foolishness. With my 1400 kilowatt power supply that I'm going to end up putting in here, I'm running about 80 grand, not including the land. I simply look for value, right? So, but eventually I'll get around to that. But the next 3 days is going to be a lot of rain, maybe up to 3 inches of rain, which, you know, I'm not complaining, but my collection system behind me is what I use for my livestock, Old Hank, as well as gardening, and as well as all of my construction. So I want to catch as much as I can. Ideally, I catch 5,000 gallons off of this, but I'm not built that way yet. I don't have all of the gutters. So, and I've talked about this before, and some of the things that are absolutely working for me. This manifold where I've got, you know, the livestock for Hank to drink out of. I also dip out of it with that, I believe it's a sauna bucket. Let me grab it. It might be a camp stove bucket. I don't know. I bought it from an antique store. It said $42 on it, and it says pan with wood handle. So nothing fancy there. It looks blacksmithy to me, or welded. So nothing fancy, although it is heavy duty. I don't think it's cast iron either. I'm going to guess that somebody spray painted whatever this was, stainless steel maybe? I don't know. But nonetheless, I use it to dip out of the stock tanks and out of his straw. This has been super handy. There you go. You know, how handy is that, right? And the hose up there that you see, that's winded up there, that's my cordless Ryobi power washer, also super handy. So I just drop that in the end of the tank and I can power wash, you know, right there. This is full, this middle one, and it is only for construction material. That is a tank that I paid $75 for alongside the road in Giddings, Texas. And then around here, there's this thing that I use for storage. I got from, I got this from a Goodwill. I think I paid $7 or $8 for it. The spigot was broken off on it, but it turned out I could just put any old spigot on it. So, and there I've got a, what I'm going to do with those white barrels isn't water. I'm going to cut the tops off and I'm going to use them for the piers for building these shipping containers, which are 2 foot off the ground. Then I'll put a basement under that where I'll have room for storage, as well as that's where my my water handling, and if I need to do in-floor heating, I'll do in-floor heating. But those are what the topic is today. So what's in here that makes it pink is car wash. So that's car wash soap. So what I'd like to do, since I'm using these for construction, is I'd like to, with the glass manifold there, cut that off, plumb it in with the long pipe. Oh, there you go. You see this last manifold over here. That one is just my overflow when everything else. But what I want to do with the 3 inches of water, since the middle one's filled up, I shut off. The stock tank I'll open up during a small rain and get a little bit of water into there. But then I'm just going to gather those barrels around this barrel and then cut that off with a saw, and hopefully I can figure out how to make them all get in there where I could just move it around from barrel to barrel and fill the barrels. It'd be nice to have every one of those barrels full. One, I'd wash it out, and two, I would use the for the concrete, I'd have plenty of water when I mix concrete. So let me, without further ado, let's see how well this does, right? So, you know, one thing about living way out here that you don't appreciate is I heard the storm front moving in about 6, 7, 8 miles away. I could hear a train coming through and getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And it had a certain energy that was a little exciting and, you know, a little scary at the same time. So it's the kind of thing you can't hear unless you're way off grid. And I'm on solar, so there's no buzz going on in this house and no clickies, no whirlies. It's just quiet. I'm one with nature, as one as a man can be and still survive. So, but hearing that storm slowly approach, it really brought me back to when I was a kid, and I could hear. So the nearest train is maybe 8, 10 miles, 15 miles away, and I can hear them when they're idling at night. But other than that, I don't hear very much. The neighbors are reasonably quiet. I hear them shooting every now and then. I hear the coyotes mostly. But this storm front blowing in was something else to hear it slowly come and blow through. So, but left me with one objective, and that's to be able to, hopefully these rubber grommets will work. I'll cut this pipe, and hopefully I can go like that and move it around and capture this additional water. I wasn't expecting all of this, right? So I went and got those last minute. I don't have any other fittings, so I've got to make do with what that is. We'll see if it'll work. Then I'll turn off the other manifold, right? That one I need to open up for Hank a little bit. I'm a little low. Let's do that. So once I top off the stock tank, then the big tank is shut off, but hopefully I'll fill up all of these. We'll see. And in case you're all wondering how I'm keeping mosquitoes away, I do get the little blocks of the my bacteria that fights mosquitoes, and I break a piece off and throw it down inside of those tanks. I don't want to have a bunch of mosquitoes here, that's for sure. Toys R Us screwdriver. I don't know where I got it. Feels like this will work just fine. And I got 2 of these connectors because that way it feels like I can bend it around. There's no pressure in these or anything. So the magnets and the duct tape on top of the building holding the cheap gutters, I just got at Home Depot in the 10-foot section and snapped them up. That was really good. And if I had time and more storage, I'd do more. But other than the big drought last summer, I was able to always have these all topped off at all times while I'm doing construction. I'm not doing massive construction. If you pour concrete, you're waiting 28 days anyway, and I guarantee you within 28 days that I top this off. I filled this container, the big one, 3 times during the construction project. I'm doing a little bit of gardening, so I might use the blue barrels a little bit more, but the white ones, again, will be for construction. This might all work for you. Just a simple, not professional. I'm not running any filtration. Again, this isn't potable. I'm not drinking it. I think that'll work during this rainstorm. But I think if I would make that more flexible, I could put barrels on a trailer and then fill them up and then haul them where I'm doing the mud, either up by the drive or, you know, fence post or wherever I'm doing the mud. So I'll consider that. So, but that'll work. I've got the first drum in there, and then as the rain fills them up, I'll take that flexi connector and I'll go around. I might cut it again in half and put another connector so I get more of a flexi bend. I think I'll do that, in fact. The other thing I looked at doing was sticking this 1 inch in there. I don't know if I have another piece of pipe. Oh, and those 30-gallon barrels that I'm going to use for concrete forms, They were $6 a piece. I don't think I could buy the cardboard stuff, but you have to put in right away or it falls apart. And then what I'll do is I'll cut this out with a reciprocal saw, and then I could put my, let me put one up. So I'll cut the lid off with the reciprocal saw, and then I could put my rebar straight through it, and it will hold my rebar in place. And then the very bottom, I'll cut a hole that I could put my post hole through it. So I'll have this to rest the Connex on, and then there'll be another 2-foot hole down that I'll have the rebar sitting in there. And then all the hooks that I need to put my sandbags on will be at the appropriate angle, because I'll drive them all in before, or drill them in, drive them in. Some of them may be threaded bars. That's what I thought, if I wanted to put, let's say, wood against it. But anyway, back to this. This idea is not a half bad idea. So there we go. Little flexible joints. I think I would have been happier if I would have had more 2-inch pipe out here. And I would have used that, and then these in 45 or 38 or some other angle, right? So I can make a longer run, and I'm not forcing it like I am now. So as you can see, the barrels now are ready to be filled up. And then just a couple of rubber joints into this. Notice this valve is open, so now the water will come here. Once the stock tank, I'll close it, and then the water will come here. And I'll just move the buckets around, and this will be light enough I can roll it out of the way and roll the next bucket in if I can't make it all work. But I'm hoping to fill them all up. We shall see. I don't know if I've been out here physically when I've had 3 inches of rain in 48 hours. So it's a good thing for me to look around. It'll be a last check for how watertight the windows are for sure. I think I'll be okay though. So this is Steve at 1000-Year Home. This is my little storm catching water manifold that I just built out of PVC. I still need to spray paint it black so that the UV doesn't get to it. And then there's other videos of mine, just look for them, where I put the gutter up using magnets and duct tape, and it's been up there for 9 months now catching water. So then it just all comes down. I put this stick in here. This is an important point. Any animals or bugs that fall in there, I don't want them staying for my horse to drink. So this is how they crawl out and get out. So I haven't had any loss of life in there. Well, that's a little bit of rain in Texas. A little over 3 inches in the day so far, 3.08. I was going to take you in a walkabout, and I see some thunder out there. I don't know if it's safe. Guess I'll do a little walkabout here around the Connex. Well, earlier in the day I had done a walkabout, and I ran into a possum crossing my path and a little skunk. They both eyeballed me. But it's raining out here, and I don't really want this camera that wet. So let's just take a look at what 3.06 inches did right here local, right around my little Connex. Did I build in the right spot? Am I in dry? Let's find out. All right, first things first. All right, y'all know I bought a bunch of barrels I'm going to turn into piers. Yeah, that was lightning. Into piers. I'll tuck this underneath my hat. Turn down my voice, I won't yell so much. And I've been filling them up right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 3 left to fill out of the 8. So the horse trough is full. That's good. Looky, there's some spillover that I have in buckets. They're filled up. So am I dry here? Did I pick right? Well, at a glance, I would say yes. The underneath of these is not badly flooded, and once I get the roof done, it'll even be less. This is my yard. My yard has got a little bit of water, not bad. I'm going up 2 feet off the ground. I would say that I am in a safe area. Right now there are flood warnings going on. I wish that thunder hadn't rolled in. I would have you under the umbrella and we'd go for a little bit of a longer stroll. Old Hank, I've been extra oating him today. I didn't get a blanket on him, so I want him to have good calories. Let's see what woke up in my garden. Let's see what woke up in my garden. Well, that's pretty good in my little hugelkultur. Eventually I'm gonna drop dirt around these and make them into like a little ring that'll, you know, restrain water, and that'll definitely fill up. I see lots of little greens. I plant everything at once, so I don't know what's growing where. There's not plots in there. There's corn and pumpkins and squash, and there's my tomatoes, and I see a pepper in there. I see another set of tomatoes, beans. Really, my volunteer pumpkins, I just find pumpkins on porches and bring them back, throw them where I want them. One of the roses is really doing quite well. Quite well. So this is working out for me pretty well. I'm trying to tuck you underneath my hat. My big mini pearl hat. People are full of... So I went and drove my truck across the culvert just to be safe, because I knew it was going to rain. I've got another 1.5 inches coming. So one truck's on this side running my power, and then this, if you all remember, this was my my frog pond and bird pond to keep my drive from flooding. Well, I see, well, that's up out of the ground, but I could make a genuine and sincere pond out of this. I wondered if I could. So listen, when I bought the property, we were already in a drought, and it must have been the last year of drought, because in Texas I'm used to droughts being 2 years, and this was only 1. So there must have been a drought ongoing out there. So this drive is holding up. I'm on firm footing. It's got just a little mush to it. This pond, that from the neighbors is flooded. Can you believe that's down inside there? I'll get some other pictures. Well, I've got to get back inside. It is officially downpouring again. But 2 good questions answered. I definitely can make this stock pond bigger, right? I'll agree with that. And I did put my house in a good spot where I can both capture water as needed, but it's pretty high up. Nothing's flowing here. Now I was going to take you for a walk and go to that little creek, wet weather creek that's on the side of my property. It is roaring. It's officially a river. All right. Well, like, subscribe, follow me along. It's officially too wet for me to keep you out here. There's old Hank, miserable. Sorry, buddy. You can come put your head underneath my awning if you want.